Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having this really impressive panel and hearing. And you've all drilled down pretty deeply in several issues that I have an interest in. So I'm going to try to drill just a little deeper on one, first of all. And one of them, it gets to what you said, Mr. Smith, in talking about procurement reforms. And I don't know that we could disrupt enough to be as effective as we need to be. But we in this exceptional system of ours, protect things a little more probably than other places, and that's okay. But you specifically raised a reform of the protest. You talked about some protest reforms. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I agree that is a problem. You've all talked about the delays that lead to delays, and time leads to mischief, and those are my words, not necessarily yours. But protest reform seems to be one of those areas maybe we can do a little better while still protecting everybody.
Well, it's a really important question. It's certainly another one that we've experienced as a company over the last year. I would start with a recognition that these new technologies that we're talking about today really, for the most part, start as commercial technologies and then they're put to military use rather than the other way around. So the best way for the Defense Department to move faster is use commercial technology, add security layers as we've done, with the DoD and the intelligence community for, say, secret and top secret workloads, and then create adaptations. But it is so important to move quickly. Then the question is, how do you move quickly when the protest movement or protest process moves slowly? So I do think there's a real opportunity to look at the process, streamline it, put in place some tighter deadlines, consider legal reforms that would apply those deadlines to the judicial aspects as well. We don't think that others should be denied an opportunity to protest. Maybe for better and worse, that is part of the American way to some degree, but it sure would be beneficial if it could move faster.
Others on the same topic, Dr. Schmidt or General?
Sir, the only thing I'll tell you I noticed, and Mr. Smith and I had this discussion ahead of time, is the protest. I agree, there has to be an opportunity, but the speed with which you go through it, and the fact is, there's absolutely nothing, no disincentive to protest, and except for the consumer, the customer that's going to actually use equipment and is denied that equipment for an extended period of time. So the question is, how do you accelerate that, allow those things to happen fairly, but at the same time, don't disadvantage the person that's waiting for the equipment while you're waiting for the protest to be resolved.
For sure. Well, I'd love to drill down more on that if anybody has any brilliant idea, whether it's our judicial system, legal system, regulatory system, or government, whatever we can do. You also have all talked a lot about the skilled workforce, and I think you've answered a lot of questions really well on that. One area I might just seek a little more input on, first of all, I agree wholeheartedly. We have so blown the opportunity to maximize the incredible high-skilled immigrants that have come to this country, whether for education or for work or all the above, putting them in these boxes. The backlog of green cards is immoral to me. The per-country caps I've been trying to get rid of for a long time. It punishes certain countries and obviously that have a lot more to offer us. But it also opens up another one of those security risks, right? I mean, whether it's chip manufacturing or immigrants, how do you see moving forward with high-skilled immigrants and some of the reforms, whether it's, I think you've talked a little bit about comprehensive, and comprehensive's fine, but comprehensive seems to always get in the way of doing some other good things. And I'm just looking for a lane here in this next Congress to finally get something over the top as it relates to the backlog of green cards and high-skilled immigrants.
So Brad and I have spent 30 years here saying basically the same thing.
Well, good. I feel better. I've only been spending about 6. So
I know, and I'm sorry to say the same thing again. Our industry is critically dependent upon high skills workers. Today, our industry represents 20 or 25% of the total stock market value of America. So we're sort of important in at least the economic output, if not the pride of the country. And we need these people because they are the creators of our products. What I would suggest with respect to the questions of concern about security is that you could imagine, for example, a Chinese national comes in and you'd ask them, have you ever been associated with this group, and this group? And presumably they would say no. When you discover that that's the alternative through some mechanism, you can get them out. And I think that there's an investigative process that's relatively straightforward. There's a set of red flags. The vast majority of the Chinese people that we work with are not political, not dangerous, and they're incredibly important. One more comment. We looked at the question of how important are Chinese researchers for the AI effort in our report, and it turns out that the Chinese researchers are the number one on the key papers. So if you were to, in our view, incorrectly get rid of all of them because you just don't like them or something, you will in fact hurt America's AI leadership.
Well, and I might, as I just wrap up with my time gone, submit to you as well that you've done alliances, and this is another area of opportunity, it seems to me, to build maybe some new alliances with some large countries, and with that, I yield. Thank you.